Hello all, welcome to Broadcasting and Streaming Techniques session. This is Dr. Isaki Muthu. We are discussing about terrestrial transmission of digital television signal DVB-T. Now in DVB-T we are nearing the last chapter. That's a calculation of minimum receiver input level required with the DVB-T.
Minimum receiver input level required with the DVB-T. There are a few calculations here. We will see that slowly. We'll see and understand. To obtain error-free reception of a DVB-T signal, the minimum receive level required must be present at the DVB-T receiver input. A certain signal level. Now I'll give you a certain signal level. That reception breaks off, and at the threshold blocking and the freezing effects will occur, above which reproduction is faultless. So now we will discuss the principles of determining this minimum level. The minimum level in DVB-T is dependent on 7 parameters. One is a type of modulation, QPSK, 16 QAM or 64 QAM. The second point is error protection used, that is based on code rate 1 by 2, 2 by 3, 3 by 4, 7 by 8. Third point is channel mode, whether it is a Gaussian, Rician or Rayleigh. Fourth point is bandwidth, 8 MHz, 7 MHz or 6 MHz. Fifth point is ambient temperature. Sixth point is actual receiver characteristics, noise figure of the tuner. The last point is multipath reception conditions. So these are the dependent parameter for determining the minimum level in DVB-T. In principle, a minimum S by N ratio, that is signal to noise ratio, is required, which is mathematically a function of some of the factors listed, the 7 points, right? 7 factors. The theoretical S by N limits are listed in table 14 in section 7. So as an example, I'll give 2 cases here. As an example, I'll give 2 cases here. The case 1 is Rician channel with the 16 QAM with a code rate of 2 by 3 is one case. Another case is Rician channel with the 64 QAM with a quad rate 2 by 3. So I'm changing only the QAM, 16 QAM or 64 QAM. So case 1 corresponds to the conditions adapted for DVB-T network designed for portable indoor use. Case 1. The second, case 2, corresponds to the condition adapted for a DVB-T network with the parameters designed for roof antenna reception. The first one is for portable indoor. Second one is roof antenna reception. So look at table number 14 in this section. Okay, look at table number 14. That shows that the case 1 requires a signal to noise ratio of 11.6 dB, and case 2 requires a signal to noise ratio of 17.1 dB. Now the noise level N, that should be calculated, right? Present at the receiver input is obtained by one physical relation, that is noise dBW is equal to minus 228.6 plus 10 log bandwidth plus 10 log temperature plus 273. Now we are converting into Kelvin, plus F, where B is a bandwidth, right? Then T is a temperature and F is a noise figure of the receiver in dB. The constant minus 228.6 dB watt per kilo per that hertz, that is called a Boltzmann constant. So assume that the ambient temperature is 20 degree, T is equal to 20 degree. The noise figure of the tuner is 7 dB. The bandwidth, receiver bandwidth is 8 megahertz. Then what is the noise? The noise dBW is equal to minus 228.6 plus 10 log 8 megahertz plus 10 log 20 degree plus 273 plus 7. So 0 dBm at 50 ohm is equal to 107 dB microvolt. So 0 dBm at 75 ohm is 108.8 dB microvolt. So now the noise is, if you calculate that, it becomes minus 98.1 dBm. So minus 98.1 dBm plus 108.8, we have to add 75 ohm, right? So if you add that, it becomes 10.7 dB microvolt at 75 ohm. Thus the noise level present at the receiver input under these conditions is 10.7 dB microvolt. That is for noise. For case 1, 16 QAM, the minimum receiver input signal input level required is S is equal to S by N dB plus noise dB microvolt is equal to S by N 11.6 plus dB noise is 10.7. So if you add it, you will get 22.3 dB microvolt for case 1. For case 2, 64 QAM, the minimum receiver input level required is S is equal to S by N dB, same. S by N in dB is 17.1 and noise is 10.7. So the result is 27.8 dB microvolt. So in practice, it is found that these values can be met quite comfortably with only one signal path. But as soon as several signal paths are present at the receiver input, the required level is often higher by up to 10 to 15 dB and varies greatly with the different type of receiver. The received level actually present in is a result of received signal strength present in the receiving location, or the antenna gain, the polarization losses, the losses in the feed line from the antenna to the transmitter to the receiver. So now I will explain about one equation, that is a field strength present at the receiving site. So how to calculate? It's a conversion. It applies to the conversion of antenna output level from field strength present in the receiving site. E is equal to U plus K. What is K? K is the E is the electrical field strength, U is antenna output level, and K is a K factor of antenna. So how to calculate the K factor? K factor is calculated by some constant and some received frequency and antenna gain. Based on that we can calculate. K is equal to minus 29.8 plus 20 log F minus G. G is the antenna gain, F is the received frequency. So the level present at the receiver input and as a result is then S is equal to U minus loss, where loss is loss designates the implementation loss, antenna feeder. Considering now case 1 16 QAM and the case 2 64 QAM at 3 frequencies, F is equal to 200 megahertz or F is equal to 500 megahertz, F is equal to 800 megahertz. Consider these 3 frequencies. The antenna gain is assumed to be G is equal to 0 dB in each case. It's a non-directional rod antenna. So the K factors of the antenna is K is equal to 29.8 minus 29.8 plus 48 dB for the first frequency, right? For the second one it is 29.8 plus 54. Next one is 29.8 plus 58.1. So if you simplify that, you will get K is equal to 16.2 dB, K is equal to 24.2 dB, K is equal to 28.3 dB. So the field strengths for case 1 16 QAM, minimum record level, U is equal to S minus loss. U is 22.3 dB microvolt, loss is 0. So it is 22.3 microvolt. Where E is equal to 22.3 plus 16.2. That gives you 38.5. The second one, E is equal to 22.3 plus 24.2, that is equal to 46.5. Next one is E is equal to 22.3 plus 28.3 is equal to 50.6 dB volt per meter. If the directional antenna with gain is used, for example a roof antenna, the following conditions are obtained. What is that? With the f is equal to 200 megahertz, assuming gain is equal to 6 dB, E is equal to 32.5 dB. With the f is equal to 500 megahertz, assuming G is equal to 10 dB, then E is equal to 36.5. With the f is equal to 800 megahertz, assuming G is equal to 10 dB, E becomes 40.6 dB. So now field strength for case 2, 64 QAM. Minimum required level U is equal to S minus loss. S is equal to 27.8 dB microvolt. Loss is 0 dB, so 27.8 microvolt. Now E are different, right? E is equal to 44, E is equal to 52, E is equal to 56.1 dB microvolt per meter for 3 conditions. If a directional antenna with the gain is used, then you can, for example, for the roof antenna, then you can calculate the 3. F is equal to 200 megahertz, assuming G is equal to 6 dB, E becomes 38 dB microvolt per meter. Or F is equal to 500 megahertz, assuming G is equal to 10 dB, E becomes 42 dB microvolt per meter. If F is equal to 800 megahertz, G is equal to 10 dB, then E becomes 46.1 dB microvolt per meter. So under free space conditions, the field strength at the receiving site can be calculated as E is equal to 106.9 plus 10 log ERP minus 20 minus 201G. That's a G of D. That is D is a transmitter to receiver distance. So what is E? E is electrical field strength, and ERP is effective radiated power. That is the transmitter power plus antenna gain. So under real conditions, however, much lower field strength must be assumed, because this formula does not take into consideration shading, multipath reception, other things. The reduction depends on the topological conditions, maybe hills, mountains, buildings. So the reduction depends on the topological conditions and can be up to about 20 to 30 dB, but also much more with complete shading. So for example, without reduction, a reduction of at least 20 dB is recommended. Now ERP is equal to 50 kilowatt, D is equal to 1 kilometer, so E is equal to 106.9 plus 10 log 50 minus 20 log 1. That is equal to 123.9 dB microvolt per meter. If the distance is 10 kilometer, then E becomes 103.9. If distance is 30 kilometer, E becomes 94.4. Distance is 50 kilometer, E is equal to 89.9. If distance is 100 kilometer, E becomes 83.9. Since the plane of polarization was frequently changed from horizontal to vertical at the transmitter site as a part of DVB-T conversion, there may also be a polarization loss of about 10 to 20 dB at the receiving antenna site if this has not also been changed from horizontal to vertical. In the DVB-T signal, in the DVB-T, signal is received with an indoor antenna inside the house. So inside the house, and this antenna has got an attenuation up to 10 to 20 dB. So in Germany, so I'll give you some field strength values assumed for 16 QAM, and CR is 2 by 3. The reception with the roof antenna is approximately 55 dB microvolt per meter. That's a field strength, right? Or the reception with the outdoor antenna is 65 dB per microvolt per meter. Reception with the indoor antenna is approximately 75 to 85 dB microvolt per meter. So now look at figure number 28 and 29. That's it's a real picture of medium power DVB-T transmitter. It's Rode and Schwarz company. Look at figure number 28, medium power DVB-T transmitter. Figure number 29 is a DVB-T mask filter. It's a critical mask. It's a dual mode filter. It's a photograph, right? You can see that 28 and 29. So that's all about this DVB-T terrestrial transmission. Let us discuss about the other technologies in the next session. The next technology will be digital video broadcasting for handheld devices. See you then.